Welcome to the Invite Health podcast, where our degreed healthcare professionals are excited to offer you the most important health and wellness information you need to make informed choices about your health. You can learn more about the products discussed in each of these episodes and all that Invite Health has to offer at www.invitehealth.com/podcast. First-time customers can use promo code podcast at checkout for an additional 15% off your first purchase. Let's get started.
It's allergy season with all of those annoying symptoms that can ruin your day. People with allergies can wind up with sinusitis, inflamed sinuses, headaches, sinus headaches, itchy ears, itchy skin, nausea in the intestines, runny nose, sneezing, sore throat, phlegm, coughing. That's due to the whereabouts of the immune cells involved with the allergic reaction. And many people wind up reaching for an antihistamine drug that you could get in pharmacies, but not so fast there. Because antihistamine drugs have an unwanted complication that they also can inhibit acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is a very important transmitter in the body, a neurotransmitter in the brain for your memory and for figuring things out and for learning and for healing the brain, and a neurotransmitter for your muscles and your nerves. So you don't want this anticholinergic activity, anti-acetylcholine activity, because it's no good for your memory long term. So people are looking for valid replacements for their antihistamines. And one of those is an amino acid called cysteine, but there's a catch there, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. So welcome to my episode, NAC for Allergies. My name's Jerry Hickey. I'm a nutritional pharmacist. You can find all of our episodes for free, all of the Invite episodes, wherever you listen to podcasts, or just go to invitehealth.com/podcast. We have hundreds of them. You can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Invite Health. And of course, it would be nice if you subscribed and if you left us a review when you listen to these podcast episodes. So let's get going. Cysteine, Cysteine, is an incredibly important amino acid. Amino acids make up proteins typically. So you break down protein, you release the amino acids. And cysteine can be used for many indications. It's great for the brain, it's great for your eyes, it's great for your lungs, it's great for allergies, it's great for blood flow to the heart. It has so many incredible attributes, including helping the liver get rid of toxins, helping the kidney remove toxins, working as an anti-aging nutrient. The problem is you can't just take cysteine because it's not very stable. So it can quickly convert to a free radical that can damage your cells. So how did scientists get around this? They got around it in about the 1970s. They created N-acetylcysteine. They took cysteine and they attached an acetyl group to it on the nitrogen. All amino acids have nitrogen. We're made out of nitrogen and carbon and hydrogen. In any event, all amino acids have a nitrogen molecule. They attach an acetyl group to it, and that stabilizes it, and now you could take it as a supplement very safely. In fact, it's a very positive, very preventative, very beneficial supplement. I'll go into some of its utilities. But an acetyl group is simply a combination of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen that they attach to the cysteine. Acetyl groups are components of many organic compounds in the human body. I mentioned acetylcholine before. Acetylcholine is blocked to a degree by antihistamines, and that's not good for your brain. Well, and acetylcysteine actually has an acetyl group, so it's very interesting. In any event, N-acetylcysteine, you always take it with food because it can upset the stomach a little bit. It really helps protect your lungs. I use it all the time in people with emphysema, bronchitis, bronchiectasis, emphysema, asthma. It's very helpful for lung inflammation. 2, it can help open up the blood vessels leading to the heart, so it can improve blood flow to the heart. Three, or did I say A before? ABC, 1, 2, 3, same thing. Three, it has a benefit for many women's issues like endometriosis and polycystic ovarian syndrome. It's fantastic for allergies. Oh, and by the way, it's converted to this wonderful antioxidant. One of my friends, Dr. Alan Pressman, wrote the GSH phenomenon about a molecule in the human body called glutathione. And he called it the mother of all antioxidants, which to a degree is true. Glutathione super powerfully protects the brain and the eyes and the kidneys and the liver and the heart and our tissues throughout the body. It's wonderful. It protects our immune cells. It protects our red blood cells. It's just amazing. But you can't take glutathione. You'd have to take very large amounts of it to get any benefit. That would be very expensive. NAC, N-acetylcysteine, is very easily converted into glutathione. So one of the benefits of using NAC is you create glutathione, which strongly protects your brain and your eyes and many other organs and tissues. But we're really talking today about allergies. So this is a study on people with recurrent acute rhinosinusitis. So what's that? They get severe inflammation in their nose. It comes frequently. Acute means it's harsh and it comes on quickly. Frequently, this is due to allergies. This is a systematic review and meta-analysis, which means that they poured through studies. They picked out the studies that looked valid, that were well performed and well reported, and they lacked bias. So they're picking out the better studies. And when you do a meta-analysis properly, it tells you if something works or it doesn't work. So this is Indiana University Health and also Indiana University School of Medicine over in Indianapolis, University of Kentucky College of Medicine, the University of Louisville Department of Otolaryngology, ear, nose, and throat medicine. It's 10 studies in total, 890 patients, and they said, here's what we use. Intranasal steroids, normal saline in the nose, NAC, and antibiotics. So let's go through that. Intranasal steroids is a problem. That means you're spraying corticosteroids, like a hydrocortisone-related molecule, into the nose. It's the same as our stress hormones, our cortisone. The problem is it actually causes allergies to fungi. This can lead to allergies to fungi and yeasts. It can also thin the membranes of the nose. Then they give antibiotics. I mean, I've seen so many times as a pharmacist, I used to own several pharmacies in Manhattan, that people would go in with sinusitis, severe sinusitis or rhinosinusitis, and the doctors would give antibiotics and a steroid nasal spray, and they'd feel good for about 6 weeks, and then they'd come back again. But I found out the natural means really helped. So I'm really big on nasal saline. Nasal saline. Saline means it's sodium chloride, salt water, but it's the same amount of salt in the mixture that you would get in the human system. Our blood is 0.9% saline, sodium chloride, salt. It's 0.9% salt. So when you make something the same, 0.9%, it never stings you. So they can use 0.9% sodium chloride in the eyes and the nose. It doesn't sting. So it's a great wash for the sinuses. And I found out it consistently helps people who have allergies, have acute sinusitis, rhinosinusitis. And then in the review, they said NAC works. NAC is N-acetylcysteine. That's what we're talking about today. The stabilized form of cysteine. NAC is a mucolytic. It breaks down mucus. It breaks down the bonds in mucus. In fact, in people with cystic fibrosis, these people have a gene or genes that make their mucus really thick, and it's hard for them to expectorate the mucus. They can't expel the mucus, and it's very dangerous for them. So they use NAC in a nasal spray to break down the mucus. But NAC breaks down the bonds in mucus, so it's anti-mucolytic. But it's more than that. It's an anti-inflammatory in the entire respiratory tract, in the nose, in the mouth, and the nasopharynx, that bend at the back of the throat, in the lungs, and the bronchi. The bronchi are the tubes going into the lungs. And the trachea, that's the tube from your throat. So there's your nose and your mouth, and then these nasopharynx, which is the bend at the back of the nose and mouth. That goes into the trachea, your windpipe, and that goes down to the bronchi, which are two forks that come off the trachea that go into the lungs. NAC is an anti-inflammatory in all these tissues and the respiratory tract. And also, besides that, it's creating glutathione. In fact, they found when they gave people NAC or glutathione, people who had severe COVID back during the COVID pandemic days, that NAC and glutathione was really helping these people breathe. So it really does have an impact. So they found that, yes, normal saline and NAC are very helpful. And I find in people with allergies, NAC is amazing because NAC also helps to detoxify the body. It helps the liver and kidneys break down things you're allergic to, that's called allergens, and expel them. So in many ways, it's helping people with sinusitis, stuffed nose, allergy symptoms. It's fantastic. So in the International Journal of Immunopathology and Pharmacology, that's a pharmacy journal, it's otolaryngologists at the University of in Serbia and the Hospital of Varese, both in Italy. And they said normally treating rhinosinusitis requires antibiotics, corticosteroids, and mucolytics. I didn't even mention the problem with antibiotics. Antibiotics kill off your good bacteria. That causes all kinds of health issues. It can even make allergies worse. There's a lot of data that people who use a lot of antibiotics, they wind up with lung problems, they wind up with sinusitis, but especially they wind up with allergies. So they found that in these people, NAC worked very well for helping with allergies and sinusitis. Now, here's the thing. I found that combining before and after really helps people with allergies. You do not have to take an antihistamine. I found out certain things slow down the allergic reaction in the first place, and then NAC, like a sponge, kind of mops it up. So any of the following are very helpful. Quercetin. Quercetin is a flavonoid you find in really good foods, like it's a little bit in tea, it's a little bit in broccoli and spinach, it's a little bit in oranges and apples. But even a good diet, you only get about 25 to 50 milligrams of quercetin every day. If you do 300 to 500 milligrams of quercetin 3 times a day, it's very good for allergies. It helps stabilize the cells that are involved with allergies, so you have less of an allergic reaction to begin with. Stinging nettle also helps, which is interesting because stinging nettle can make your skin itchy on contact, yet stinging nettle as a tea or in a capsule is very good for allergies. Vitamin C. Black cumin seed. Black cumin seed is very good for the lungs, breathing, and allergies. Lots of studies on it. I've done podcast episodes on black cumin seed before. Cordyceps sinensis mushroom is very helpful for inflammation and breathing and allergies. And probiotic bacteria. But this is very interesting. An allergy is like obviously an incorrect reaction to something that's innocuous, meaning harmless, by your immune system, like being allergic to an apple, being allergic to shrimp. I mean, this should not happen. Being allergic to pollen or grass or dogs and cats, it should not happen. It turns out that if you destroy the rich complex of bacteria in your intestines, you're much more likely to develop allergies. And there's been many studies in children and adults where you can truly help their allergies by giving certain strains of probiotic bacteria, certain species and strains. It gets to the heart of the issue. It kind of realigns the immune system and re-educates the immune system to ignore the allergies. It worked for me. I used to have dog and cat allergies. I used to have allergies to red wines. I used to have allergies to pollens, all kinds of pollen. Zero. I would say my allergies were severe. I would say at this point, I really don't have allergies. They're so minor, I don't even notice them. So the strains that have a lot of data behind them for getting rid of allergies, literally curing them, probiotic strains, Lactobacillus plantarum, Lactobacillus rhamnosus, and to a degree Bifidobacterium animalis, subspecies lactis. So, but it takes time for the probiotic bacteria to re-educate your immune system to help with the allergies. So in the meantime, use something such as NAC, 600 milligrams 3 times a day with meals, to help out with the allergies. It's rather dramatic. So right now you can help treat your allergies with NAC, 600 milligrams 3 times a day, and also some black cumin seed, maybe 500 milligrams 3 times a day. But on the long term, so that's the treatment. That's helping you with the symptoms right now. It's the black cumin seed stabilizes the cells, so you have less of an allergic reaction to begin with, and then the NAC kind of mops it all up. Whatever's released from your immune cells, the NAC kind of mops it up like a sponge and gets rid of the allergic reaction. So that's a really good 1-2 punch for treating allergies. And then every day do a good probiotic, and you'll see that the probiotic literally helps cure your allergies. So thanks for listening to today's Invite podcast episode. You can find all of our episodes for free wherever you listen to podcasts, or just go to invitehealth.com/podcast. And of course, if you could leave us a review and if you could subscribe, it's very helpful. You can also find Invite on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Invite Health. I want to thank you for listening. Hope to see you next time on the next episode of the Invite Health podcast. Jerry Hickey signing off.